Writers, welcome back today to our Fable writing. Yesterday we began organizing our writing and getting all of our ideas down so that we can begin the writing of our Fable today. So as we jump into our lesson today, you'll notice that we're going to be focusing on the fable that we want to tell, including that lesson or moral throughout our story, making sure that our story has a clear beginning, middle, and ending. We call that sequential order. And then thinking about including what we've learned so far in our writing to help us tell our story. So today, as I jump into my writing today, we're going to take a quick look back at my organizer. Let me make this a little bigger. And just get an idea of where we want to start today. So we want to start in that beginning section of my organizer, thinking about including all of these aspects of my story. But I know that in the beginning of my story, I wanted to include that Joe was at recess and he had no one sitting by him. He was all alone on the bench. So I'm going to be thinking about the things I know as a good writer. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to actually put my organizer right off to the side, but this is going to be off screen so that I have enough room so you can see me writing. So I'm just going to put this off to the side and I'm going to be looking at that and then writing right here. So when I'm starting off my story, I'm going to start it off using one day, and I know that that starts off my story really well with the transition, that what happens kind of right away in the beginning of the story with one of those transition words or phrases. So one day, Joe was sitting on we think about how I can describe that bench, maybe a hard bench outside at recess. Now, I know Joe was alone, so he must have had some feelings. Maybe we could say Joe could feel the hot tears. His tears are a little bit warm. Hot tears about to roll down his face. Kind of tells me that he was feeling sad. He was. Remember I said yesterday that maybe he's the new kid, so we'll say he was. He was the new kid at school. And he had no one to play with. He felt lonely and upset. Maybe I could say I'll use his name this time, switch it up a little bit. Joe was so upset. He said to himself, we'll use some quotation marks, I just wish I was at home. All right, so now I'm going to go back and reread just to think and see if that made sense, if there was any other transition words that I needed to add or any more sensory descriptive words that I feel like I could add. So One day, Joe was sitting on a hard bench outside at recess. Joe could feel, Joe could feel the hot tears about to roll down his face. He was the new kid at school, and he had no one to play with. He felt lonely and upset. Joe was so upset, he said to himself, I just wish I was at home. I think I started my sentences differently. Um, I do like have he could feel the hot tears roll down his face. He sat on the hard bench. So I have some good. He felt lonely and upset. So I have some good descriptive words there. I think I feel pretty good about this. So this is my beginning of my story. I'm going to continue on to write my middle and ending, but today, um, go ahead and get started and see where you can get. Maybe you can get all the way through to the end of the story while you're checking for those transition words, those sensory details, and making sure that your story stays in order and makes sense. So keep in mind having your organizer out just to help you stay on track, and that will really help as you are writing your story. Good luck, writers.